Okay. I'm gonna give it a minute.
Well, I would ask a better question. What the hell are they doing unmasking? So the only logical conclusion is, and it goes back to what I said in the early part of 2017, when I came out and made all of this public. I was attacked by the people instead of the media and the arm of the Democratic Party. Instead of them asking me, hey, where did what do you think's wrong with this? What are the problems? Who did it? All they ask me is, where did you get this information from? Oh my God, he's sharing information. Remember all of that? I don't know if you recall that. Too. But what I was talking about there is I had seen a number of Trump transition officials that were appearing in reports that were being unmasked. So General Flynn is really just the tip of the iceberg. What it appears to me like what they were doing is a lot of them went wild after Trump won. They got poisoned with this Russia hoax. That's why you had Obama.
So I'm not sure what this cluster is here.
All of them were just unmasking and then leaking out about anyone within the Trump
They,
campaign, the Trump transition, that they could. You had the media who was taking those leaks. And remember,
if anybody knows, I'd like to know what these are, what that cluster is. And you see this big flare going off. And notice the angle now, and then this dark line here and this dark line here. So I don't know what that is either, but that's a pretty big flare. So we might end up with a G1 3 days from now, 2 or 3 days from now. We will see. So tired of them talking about that stuff on the news. Anyway, I'm just keeping an eye on this and a few other things, like this pretty big flare. This one isn't as wide as some of them we've seen, but this one goes on for a long time. So anyway, hey Kevin, how are you, sweetheart? God bless you. So do you know what those are? These? Do you know what cluster or whatever that's supposed to be? How are you doing? Has it stopped snowing in New York? Good. I just don't recall seeing that cluster of stars or planets, or I don't know what it is. I just don't recall seeing this before. If I can make it bigger. And I can. And it's a pretty big, a long flare that comes off of here. And another one. So we might have a G1 in a few days. But anyway. Yeah, that's what. See, that's what I was wondering if that was part of some debris field. Um, I don't know if that is. Those are pretty big. Freezing. Yeah, the freeze warning now, but no snow. Yeah, we're gonna be 74 tomorrow. Thank goodness. It was only 60 something today, but like I said, when you're sitting in the sun, man, it's hot, super hot in the sun. But if you're in the shade, it's cool. You need a jacket and long pants and everything. But sitting in the sun, man, you want to be sitting there in a bathing suit. So, ouch. So the line is open if you want to call in. I don't know. It might be a debris field for the weekend. Yeah, I guess our weather's going to move up your way. I think we got 74 tomorrow and 80 Friday, and I think 84 Saturday. We're usually 10 to 15 degrees warmer than y'all. Oh, okay. So you don't drive long distance, you drive locally, right? Okay, that'll work. I don't plan on being on here long this evening anyway. I just wanted to share whatever this is coming in. As it just looked odd to me. I don't recall seeing that before. Oh, well, that's good. Home every night. I used to want to drive a semi. Some tubers say it ships. I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything at this point. Although I don't think the fallen angels are going to come in on ships. I mean, they could, who knows? But I don't think they are. But they could for deceit purposes. Oh, we'll have to keep an eye on that and see what it does. Good night, Kevin. God bless you. Get some rest. Have a safe day tomorrow. All right. Well, I'm not going to chat a lot tonight. by myself. Doobie doo. Let me see. So Maryland's protesting, but their numbers are constantly going up. I don't even think they got into their spike yet, and we haven't. I know that. Well, apparently in Winnebago County, Illinois, 4 to 7 people uh, got shot at a local gas station somewhere around 8:32 p.m. this evening. I haven't checked on it to see if there was news on it yet. And there was a lot of fires around the country today and in Australia. Okay. Well, nobody's gonna type and nobody's gonna call in. I'm not gonna stay up here tonight and voice my unpopular opinion on things going on in the world. Let's see. Hmm. Oh, hey, Sean Johnson, my UK son. How are you? It's frosty there, really? It's cold. We're gonna be 74 here tomorrow, and then 80 something on Friday, and 84 on Saturday. It was only 60 something today, but let me tell you, it was hot in the sun, super, super hot. And at one point, it was just okay. So it used to, you used to walk outside sometimes, and the sun would be super bright. I'm 57 years old. I'm used to when the sun's super bright. But this super brightness is so different and so so white bright. And anyway, Isaiah 30:26, the moon will become as the sun, and the sun will become, yeah, the moon will become as the sun, and the sun will become 7 times brighter as 7 days is sevenfold. And we're seeing that. We cannot deny that. Anyone, especially people my age and older, they know the sun did not used to look like that, nor the moon look like it looks now. That's why everybody thinks it's exactly why everybody thinks there's a sun simulator and or moon simulator. This is where all these theories started a couple of years back because we were looking at the moon and the sun and like they look crazy. They don't look normal. They don't look right. There's something wrong. And of course, at that point, I didn't know about that scripture, Isaiah 30:26. So I was contemplating all these different scenarios too, and I thought there was a sun and possible moon simulator because it looks so strange compared to the way it's looked for 50 some years. And so I get why people, thought that because I thought it too. I'm like, this can't be our sun. That's not our real sun. There's something wrong. And then, there's people still pushing that now. And I think once they read Isaiah 30:26, and I know some of them have heard about it on my show, and they're still pushing sun simulator and moon simulator theories because you know why? Because it's clickbait. It works. So people would rather think that than to believe the scripture's actually accurate. So we're looking at this. Not sure what this is coming in. I don't recall seeing it before. So it's a whole bunch of them, whatever they are. So we're just keeping an eye on that. And then there's 2 explosions coming off the sun. They're not as wide as that one we saw. And we did end up with a G1 after that last one I had talked about. Even though everybody said it wasn't Earth facing. They seem to be Earth facing when they're over here. Of course, it depends on where the Earth is in orbit. But anyway, we're watching that as well. Yeah, I don't recall seeing it before, so I don't know. It's 32 here. Oh, y'all are freezing. Wow. Yeah, there's places that I'm glad I don't live, and that's one of them. Anywhere, it looks like a whole nother solar system, doesn't it? But or it could be a debris field, or it could be um the aliens, the fallen angels coming in. I mean, it could be, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I was, I put it up there to see if someone else knows if they've ever seen that before, but I haven't. Not that grouping. I doubt they're I mean they could be, but I doubt they're like alien spaceships. They're not, they don't seem to have a pattern going. You know, and then they're supposed to be putting up 1,200 new satellites. Elon Musk is, and you got to wonder about that too. What's the real purpose of that? I think they're definitely trying to keep their eyes on the sky or something. Oh, did you see that? That thing went by really fast. Anyway, I don't know what that is. Odd grouping. It might be a whole solar system, but anyway, it's just new to me. Let's see how much time is missing. Hmm, doesn't look like too much. Looks like we actually got 24-hour loop, close to it anyway. We don't always get that. I'm just trying to watch them to see if they change positions at all. So it almost looks like a question mark, like that, till the rest of it comes in. 1, 2, let me see if I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just counting the bright ones in it. Anyway. Yeah. I don't know what cryptids are. I'd have to look it up. Cryptids. Oh, we got a place called Cryptid, Virginia. And there's Cryptids Wiki. Tales of cryptids, mysterious creatures that may or may not exist. A field guide to the cryptids of North America. Cryptids podcast. Cryptids definition. Are they supposed to be like lizard people or something? Which are animals presumed by followers of the cryptozoology, pseudoscientific subculture to exist on the basis of anecdotal or evidence considered insufficient by mainstream science. While biologists regularly identify new species following established scientific methodology, cryptozoologists focus on entities mentioned in the folklore record and rumor. Entities that may be considered cryptids by cryptozoologists include Bigfoot, Yeti, Chupacabra, Jersey Devil, the Loch Ness Monster. Well, yeah, I'm not sure about that. Goat Man, the list goes on and on. I'm not sure about that. I mean, I can't say they don't exist because I can't prove that they don't exist. So it's possible. I just find it interesting that with the technology that we have now, they haven't been able to verify it. Especially when we got all these big brother satellites and cameras everywhere that nothing's actually been able to catch any of it, you know. So I don't know. Like I said, I can't say it doesn't exist because it could, but no, it's not something that not something I do a lot of research on. Oh, it could, but yeah, that's what I wonder. And just like people that say they've been abducted by aliens, I can't disprove that either, you know. So I listen to them. I can't say it's not true, but I wouldn't think that, yeah, they're interesting stories. I just, I don't think there's a group of friendly aliens out there that is communicating with people, um, like some of these channels say. Um, eh, I mean, it could be because I can't, I can't say that it's not. I find it hard to believe, you know, and it's not simply just because I haven't seen it. God knows I've seen some weird things, but especially the last couple of years. Oh my goodness. But, do I believe it's friendly aliens? No, if it's anything, it's fallen angels tricking people. We know that there's a whole realm, at least one realm that we cannot see. Scripture tells us that there are things that we cannot see. So, are some people in tune to it, or are they drawn to some people? Maybe. I know that there are some people out there that seem to be less than credible that say that, but um, then I know there's some that truly believe that's what they've experienced. And so I can't say that they haven't. I just would find it interesting on if that's the case, how the aliens select the people that they have these encounters with. Oh yeah, we know we're not alone. That's for sure. Scripture tells us that. I just I think that when God put the dome over us, He did that for a multitude of reasons. You know, the atmosphere kept the temperatures just right for life and all of that. And he probably kept other things from getting in. And if he's created other things since us, that is very possible. Because we don't get the whole story. We get our story. And so we don't know what he's done since he created mankind, what other creations he's done, or we know that he was going to keep expanding the stars. Scripture tells us that. So he probably has created other life. I mean, he's a creator. He's an awesome creator. Very interesting creator. So it definitely will be interesting when we get to that time, when we get to meet God and then know the things that we don't know now. Just trying to see as this moves in if there's going to be more with it. and how many explosions are actually going to come off the sun. Well, that one's definitely probably going to cause a G1. We might have 2 or 3 days in a row of G1. We'll see. I know that everybody tells me that's not interesting, but every time I see them come from this side, we end up with a G1 2 to 3 days later. That one does look like it's moving fast, though. It's a long one, too. Anyway, that's interesting. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Yeah. I don't see it in the sky when I go out there and look up, but um, I have a lot of trees in my way now. I'd have to walk, several different directions to get the tree line down on my way for some of it. I mean, like I can always see the Big Dipper and stuff, and quite a bit of the sky, but still, there's a lot of it that I can't see with the where I'm at because of the trees. And I don't feel like walking way out there to look up tonight. I mean, it's nice out, but it's a little chilly. But when it gets warmer, I'll be outside all the time. I'll probably do my shows outside too, just to be out in that beautiful warm weather. So anyway, are y'all opening up your country yet? Oh wow, let's see. It's 11:43 here, so it's 4:43 in the morning there, or 5:43. I wonder how Lulu's doing tonight. 444. 444 is the number for man. Oh, duh, Judy. 4:44 a.m. Because it's 11:44 here now. Okay, I got you. I was like, why is he typing? Then that's the number of man in Hebrew. Yeah, I can tell I won't be up here too long. It's a little too quiet. And my brain's been working overtime today. But have loved you and leave you soon. Love. Is that a song? Are you drinking over there, Sean? Or are you just tired because it's 4:44 in the morning? You're funny. It might have some more with it. I see all these are really tightly close together. I don't know if they're part of it. That almost looks like a S now, like that, like a fancy S. Anyway, who knows? One flare, two flares, and then this very long one. It just keeps going. It just looks like it's pushing a lot of energy with it. We will see. Dur, drinking and tired. What is dur? Okay, you tell me what they are and what are they not. What are they not, Sean? Jaffa cakes. Okay. I believe you. Okay, they're not Jaffa cakes. All right. We got that one out of the way. So, if we do the process of elimination, we might be able to figure out what they are in a year. Ugh. Delay is endless. Yeah, it does seem to be going slower tonight. I don't know. So anyway, I guess we can check. Um, do 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 do. Do. Oh, I did it wrong. We had a couple of powerful earthquakes. 5.2 in Tonga, 5.0 in the Solomon Islands. But you know, I don't really do these. This is Rose's. Well, that's an interesting area. I don't usually hear of anything there. This is Rose's territory. Idaho, Oklahoma, Texas. That part of Texas seems to get quite a few. Russia, 4.8. 5.2 in Japan. 4.6. Another one in Russia, Alaska, which is common. Look at the U.S. right quick. Hawaii had a little one, 2.8. That's about normal for that area of Hawaii. That's way up. Ooh, 4.4 in Idaho. And now 3.3 in Idaho. These are California. Mountain House. I haven't heard of that one yet. The first time I heard of Mountain House. Hmm. All right. Want to reload. Gracious. Took long enough. I always forget I gotta redo the live chat. You have a birthday between messages. Right? When's your birthday, Sean? Sean, when's your birthday? Is today your birthday? Well, happy birthday to you. Okay, so we'll go back and share this right quick since nobody else is typing. We're trying to figure out what this constellation or whatever this is coming in on the screen. I know the formation of it hasn't changed, so Capricorn. Oh, you're Capricorn. Or are you taking guesses again at what that is? Could be. I don't know. So anyway, the phone line is open. Oh, the number's not up on the screen, is it? It's Wormwood. Well, Wormwood might be in there. But we know Wormwood is a star that's definitely going to come. So it could be. I don't know. No one else is sharing any ideas with us. If anyone knows, they're welcome to say so as we try to figure out what that is. Um, Brian said that some other channels were saying it was alien ships. Um, I mean, nothing's impossible. Anything is possible, but if that, I'd say they were flying in a weird formation, if that was the case. And then the formation is staying pretty steady. So I don't know. But we need to watch out for those two bursts off the sun. So it's interesting, that's for sure. So anyway, Sean Johnson is in the UK, for those of y'all listening. And we have people in Australia and Canada and Texas and Florida and Virginia, North Carolina, Missouri, Maryland, New York, Ohio. Who am I forgetting? Tennessee, Nevada, California. Oh, I'll go back to what we were looking at. I don't know. Looks like they're still maintaining the same position. Maybe it is a debris field. We'll see. Unless they cut the feed like they sometimes do. Yeah, I know. But it won't be able to tell me something that it doesn't know. If they aren't stars that are in the app. Anyway, we'll find out, I guess, eventually. Either somebody will know or somebody will share it with us, or we'll hear some made up stuff on the news. Who knows? So pretty cool. I wonder if there's any more behind it coming in. So, if anybody has any suggestions on what it could be, they're welcome to type in. We got 80 people watching and nobody typing except for Sean in the UK, in Manchester. I wonder where, forgive me. I wonder where, Patrick is tonight. That'd be a good time for Lulu to call in with her Australian accent. So this is a laid back call in show. If anyone wants to call in, and you definitely can type in the room. It's got to get pretty boring listening to my voice at this point, since I'm not on a real topic tonight. Moo moo. The sound is working, right? Testing, test. This has been a test of your emergency broadcast system. Had there been an actual emergency in your broadcast area? Anyway, I think the sound is working. Y'all gonna make me pull up my my poetry and start reading my poetry. Okay. The number is at the top of the screen. No alien interference tonight. Oh, let's go. Yeah, remember the first time? That was hilarious. I still thank you for sticking it out with me till I could get the sound right. So that was a little over a year ago. I don't know quite when, but I'm thinking February or January. So good evening, people. Y'all are welcome to join in. I don't know, still 78 people, but nobody's talking but us. Well, let me look back at see what it's doing. One, two, three bursts off the sun. I don't know, Sean. This might have more stuff coming behind it too. We'll have to see as the time progresses. Maybe it is a debris field, or aliens, or fallen angels, or some spacecraft governments are putting up in there. Who knows? Think you need to? I need to read what? Well, I guess I can check on severe weather. Um, make sure there's nothing horrible going on. Only got a couple of boxes. Let's see. Oh, it's a pretty large box there. Oh, wow. There's some severe storms going through. So who is that for? Let's see. Oh, there's only one severe weather warning at the time, really? I find that strange. For Oklahoma and Texas, at least it's only moving 40 miles per hour, because one night we clocked that storm was moving 90 miles an hour. They had a bunch of fast moving storms. But this is a, okay. That's all that it's showing. So I don't know. Oh, got a new meteor passing by. Been a lot of those, and we're not in a meteor shower. But that's been going on the last couple of years. Are you laughing about my poems? I still think they need to fix that. This should automatically go to live chat instead of you having to go up and set it to live chat. Oh, 85 people watching, but nobody talking. And I didn't choose a topic to talk about tonight. And I usually have a lot to say. But anyway. boom, boom. And then this long one, back to back. So that's gonna, I'm sure that's gonna increase the speed or this powerful, fast one that comes behind it and catches up to it. Maybe I'll enlarge it again. Show you what I'm talking about. Oh, I gotta wait for it to go back through. I tell you, our sun's getting crazier and crazier looking. But Isaiah 30:26. And see, this is showing very little, very minimal activity here. But I got a feeling that's going to change tomorrow, and then we're going to see it spike up here. And then we may see a G1 in a couple of days. We still have 73 people, but nobody is talking. Well, they're lifting the lockdown for certain parts of Virginia, and which can prove, it probably is going to prove to be not a good decision, especially here for Virginia Beach, because everybody's going to flock to Virginia Beach for Memorial Day weekend. And although you watch, there's going to be big crowds on the beach and boardwalk and everywhere. And anyway, this is the place where everybody from New York and New Jersey and North Carolina, South Carolina, well, you know, I mean, they have beaches there too, but this is where everybody comes to, and they come from Ohio and, you know, all kinds of places to come here to the beach. And so that means we're gonna, you know, we're still the lowest in testing. You know, we ranked 49th in the country for testing, so they weren't even doing the testing yet. Out of 8.5 million people that live in Virginia, they've only tested 130,000 people. So, and our numbers are steadily going up. So anyway, they Northern Virginia is still on a lockdown, parts of Northern Virginia. And Maryland's numbers are still going up. Pennsylvania's numbers are still going up, you know, and they're close to us. And I got a feeling North Carolina is too, but they're not going to give the accurate numbers now because they've already opened, you know, because they wanted to, everybody wants to open the economy back up. So, you know, I don't know if we can depend on getting accurate numbers with that going on. And, you know, that reminds me, I saw a couple of posts, I think it was on Facebook and one on YouTube about the flu vaccine is giving false positive COVID, causing false positive COVID readings. Well, scientifically, medically, that doesn't even make any sense because influenza is an entirely different species than the coronavirus. Um, so you're not going to get a false positive test if you got the flu vaccine, which is influenza, would have dead cells from an influenza virus, then that's not going to give you a positive reading for COVID. COVID is a coronavirus. So anyway, and but people are spreading that propaganda, and it's just not true. But that's the same people going around saying that the numbers aren't really as big as they are. And anyway, people get mad if you give your opinion on it if it differs with theirs. So, but I mean, those are the facts. You can't get a false positive on COVID out of a flu vaccine or even influenza. My niece went in and tested positive for the flu, for influenza. She didn't get a false positive for COVID. She tested positive for the flu last month. And vice versa. If you have COVID, you're not going to get a false positive for influenza A or influenza B. They're two different species. So, anyway, I just wanted to bring that up while I remembered it. Well, let's get a portion of this. Dooby-dooby-doo. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can research it later and figure out what that is coming in. But I'm wondering if we're going to have another G1 storm from this. A couple of days of G1 storms. Which we have had a lot of those to be in a solar minimum, which is what we're supposed to be in. There has been a lot of G1 storms this year. A lot of them. And then to be in a solar minimum, I don't know. Anyway, the 11-year sun cycle, as they call it. You would stay locked down and, well, we won't have any choice when they lift, so Virginia Beach is going into phase 1 come Friday. A G1 is a geomagnetic storm. They go up to 5, the geomagnetic storms, which means they interfere with electronics. They interfere with the magnetosphere, so they interfere with animals knowing where they're at. There was one that hit sometime in the 1800s that killed a bunch of phone operators because it fried the power grid and went through the phone lines and electrocuted. So back then, you used to have to like dial a 0 on your phone. Or back then, it might have just picked it up and was automatically connected to the operator. So a bunch of operators died when they had I think it was a G2 or a G3 storm that time. But anyway, so yeah, G1 is geomagnetic storm, and 1 is the severity of it. So they go 1 to 5. And we've had, I mean, oh my gosh, so many this year and last year. Even though we're in a solar minimum, we still got 75 people watching, but nobody's typing and nobody's calling in. So, let's see if there's been any changes on this. Doesn't look like much has changed. We got another warning. Still for Oklahoma and Texas. And this one's moving slower, so it's going to drop a lot of rain. But that one's only moving 25 miles per hour. That's over Edwards and Belvedere, Texas. I don't know. I don't know what those are right now. Probably some normal constellation, and it may have appeared before, and I just happened to miss that week or however many days it took to go across. But I don't know. I seen some weird stuff last week too, like a planet. I think I video. I think that's on one of the shows that I did. So the planet, what it actually when it went in here, there was a big burst off of here, like it interacted with the sun. So it was right here when it went in, right? When it came out, if that was it that came out, because something came out up here a couple of days later, but way up here, but it went in down here, which was really, really close to the sun. And then there was a big explosion off the sun, like that wide. Anyway, we'll learn together, I guess. Oh, I hope my voice is matching what I'm doing, because when I go back to this screen, there's a delay. So, all right, we're down to 69 people and still nobody's typing or calling in. So, for those of you listening, it's a laid back call in show. We pretty much discuss whatever people want to discuss within reason. Most of us are Christian, and so we like to compare what's going on in the world with scripture to prove the accuracy. It's good timing and sound. Thanks, Sean. Because I can't really tell when I'm doing the show, like unless I watch it on my phone at the same time. And I'm not doing that because that would actually slow it down. And because we don't have any buffering, I don't want to do that and cause buffering. Oh. mm. Wow, that's quite a bit of a delay. So now on my screen it's just showing the weather map again, which I got out of that like a minute and a half ago. So anyway. Anyway, I'm kind of tired tonight, so I'm not keeping a good pace going with uh, Oh boy, oh boy. I don't know. We will see. I don't know, judging by the speed, it might be up there for at least a day, maybe 3 days before it comes across here. So we'll see if it does, if any of these move out of the formation that they're in. Yeah, we got 81 people and nobody's chatting but you and I. So it'd be nice if they chatted. I'm glad there's no tornado warnings tonight, because that this box is sure taking its time to move. The storm's moving, but it's like the box is sitting in the same place, the warning area. I don't know. Okay, people. There's 87 of y'all in the room. You're welcome to type or call in. Maybe they don't have sound where they're at or something. 95 people. Let's see if anybody's going to type or call in. Maybe it's their first time being here. Which, I'm sorry, because I'm not on the ball tonight. Normally I'm doing a lot of talking and covering the news and conspiracy theories and scripture and everything else. Anyway, it'd be interesting to know what that is. Temperature must have dropped. The heat just cut on. I've got it set real low so it doesn't normally cut on. I don't know, Sean. They might just be listening. And I'm not even doing a good rant tonight with all the conspiracy theories and whatnot. Oh, let's see. Oh, let's see what they said. So we're almost up to 300,000 deaths. we know that there's people that died months back that they weren't testing for it because they didn't suspect it at the time. The U.S. is up to 85,197 deaths, and we still have 16,349 in critical condition. Russia is gaining fast, by the way. They're already up to 242,271. The UK is up to 229,705. And y'all have had 33,186 deaths. And you know, I've heard a lot of different figures about how many people the flu kills each year, which I think is an unacceptable number too, when it's a lot less contagious than this, but millions and millions and millions of people get it, and it could be prevented. So I find it sad that even on the average in the United States, they say 4,000 to 2,900 die in a flu season, in a normal flu season. And now the swine flu and the avian flu, those were different. Those were worse. The Spanish flu was the worst on record. It killed 50 million people. But that was influenza, and this is not influenza. But anyway, yeah, on the average, it's 4,000 to 29,000 a year that die in the United States from the flu. And I think that's a sad number too when it can be prevented. You know, I don't think that's an acceptable number. I can guarantee the family members that lost those 29,000 people don't think it's an acceptable number. But my point is that outside of the avian flu and the swine flu, which were, you know, different, they were mortality rate for those was much higher than it was for the regular influenzas, or the normal strains of the influenza. We're already at 85,000 on this one, and you know, here shortly is going to be over 100,000 because we still have 16,000 plus in serious or critical condition in the United States. So that being said, and that's with, you know, the lockdown. Imagine if there hadn't been a lockdown. It's just, oh, anyway, I worry about Memorial Day weekend. You know, it's a big party time, and this is one of the towns where everybody comes to party. You know, Virginia Beach. There's going to be places in North Carolina, South Carolina. You know, they got a beautiful beach there too. North Carolina's, you know, all the way down the East Coast, even in Jersey and the beach there. I don't know. I think they're going to phase one too. I think most of the country is jumped to phase one, even though they didn't meet the criteria of a 14-day drop or whatever it was. And matter of fact, you know, some of the numbers are still going up in some of these states like ours. And so we definitely didn't meet that criteria of going down. And anyway, I think this is gonna, and people aren't gonna wear the masks, they're not gonna wear the gloves, they're not gonna do social distancing. And that's the biggest problem, is that people aren't going to do what they need to do to protect themselves and others. But anyway, alright, we're down to 65 people watching at 12:36 a.m. on the east coast of the United States. And still nobody is conversing except Sean from the UK and me. So there's a lot of business owners defying the orders. This is crazy. The time we're in around the world. This global. Oh, and there's another country or territory that's been added to the list this week too. We were at 212 countries and territories infected. We're now at 213. So I pray everyone is safe around the world. Yeah, it'd be nice if someone called in, but they're not. Alright, so I guess I'll go back to sharing the screen for a minute. And then I probably will close out and get some sleep since I'm rather tired. So it would be cool to know what this is over here. If it's the constellation that shows up once in a while, or if it's debris, or aliens, or one of them changed. Interesting. Okay, so watch this. That's what I've been trying to capture, if any of them change or move. Or look like they're falling, or changing formation. Hmm. There's one that shows up right here, and it looks like what we see when we see the planets go by, with a tail on both sides of it. But the interesting thing is it's only on the screen for a split second, and it just pops up in the middle. It doesn't come from this end or from this side. It just pops up right here in the middle. Oh, let me make that smaller for a minute, see if I can capture it. I'll show you what I'm talking about, because it goes real fast. So it's going to be hard to catch even doing this. Oops. Is that it? Let's see if that's it. Yeah. So it just pops up right here. First you see it, then you don't. But that's kind of like the thing that the military, the Nimitz battle group was describing, and even before that, the Mexican Air Force. It might not be the one. Let's see. Might be two of them. Oops, there it is. Nope, that's not it. Huh. It's a little hard to capture because it's so quick. And the slightest movement of the mouse. Oh, there it is. Come on. I think I went past it. And it's going to be hard to capture because it's so quick. Alright, so go back. Ah, that's not it. That one's weird though. Anyway, really hard to capture. Try one more time. Just moves too fast to catch. But just let it run though, you can see it. Right there. Ah, didn't mean to click on you. Wow, we still got 70 people and nobody's calling in. Nobody's typing. Oh, hey, Lulu. How are you, beautiful? Wow. Just dropped from 71 to 45. You didn't get my notification, really? That's odd. So, how you doing, beautiful? There's a beautiful Lulu. She is from Australia. So now we got Australia representing, and we got the UK representing, and we got the USA representing. And I don't know where the other people are from because they're not typing or nor calling in. So we're watching this. Let me show it to you. We're watching this area here. We're trying to figure out what it is. If it's a constellation, or if it's a debris field, or if it's aliens, or whatever. Anyway. And then we're watching two big bursts come off the sun. Well, actually three. But then the first one comes off, and then there's one that comes behind it, and it goes so fast that it catches up with that one. And then you have this long stream. So I'm thinking we're going to be in a G1 storm for a couple of days here in the near future. But and then we're just watching some meteors, and some seem to be planets that just appear and disappear. Like they don't come across the screen. They don't come down. They don't come this way. They're not coming that way. They just appear and then disappear. Of course, it could be some kind of shooting like that one that just went by. It could be a shooting star or something. We don't know. Huh. Yeah, I'm blessed. How's the weather in Australia? Struggling to stay awake now. So last night I was so sleepy, and so I closed out the show, and of course I couldn't fall asleep for hours. I was so upset. But anyway, one of these days I'll have that sleep study test the doctor ordered. Cooler day. Yeah, it was cooler here today too, like in the 60s. But man, out in that sun, ooh, it's hot in that sun. And not like it used to be. I mean, it was just, I know when I was a brick mason, I was doing a lot of moving around and stuff. And of course, you work up a bit of a sweat, even when it's not real hot. But, when I'm sitting there with the elderly gentleman, so his dogs can play at the dog park and stuff. Um, yeah, sometimes I want to try to start doing them earlier, for sure. Especially when I still have energy, and anyway, I kind of went on not a rant, but last night I was just voicing my opinion on some of the conspiracies and stuff, and um, there's a few people that I know in real time that seem to be upset with me because I don't view things the same way that they do, and that kind of hurts because I don't care if someone has the same views as me or the same opinions as I do when it comes to things that none of us really have 100% proof on. I do think that there are things that there's more proof one way than there is another, and then there's also the thing where some things are just more probable for various reasons. So when you weigh in on it, when you weigh all there's millions of possibilities, of course. And then, um, anyway, I don't know. It's just kind of disappointing that people take offense to other people's opinions. So we were up to 92 people, 93 people in here earlier, Lulu, but nobody would talk. Just me and Sean and I. Sean must have fell asleep over there because he's not doing the bull thing or anything. Sean, if you're sleeping, Lulu's here. Because it's 4:52 in the morning there, or 5:52 in the morning where he is. Let's see, where you are, it's 2:52 in the afternoon, right, Lulu? There must be a delay, a serious delay tonight. No, that's not it, Lulu. I mean, I kind of figured they would go because, I mean, it was nice to have them, but none of them, not one of them said anything. So, 2:53, yeah, it's 12:53 here in the morning. Yeah, I'm thinking Sean fell asleep on us because he was just talking um a few minutes before you got here, or maybe a little longer than that. So anyway, we're just gonna watch this progress over the next couple of days or however long it takes to go across. It looked like that little uh shooting star almost hit that one, whatever that is. But yeah, we probably see a couple of days of geomagnetic storms of uh of level 1 probably. It looks like I'm buffering now. It had buffering. Yeah, it's okay. It happened one other time. There was a bunch of people and they didn't call in, and only a few typed. So anyway, Brazil just posted 980 new cases. So they're just starting the new day, the new count, and 82 new deaths. India, Mexico just posted 1,862 new infections and 294 new deaths. I think they're the only ones so far. Panama just posted 161 new cases. Australia just posted 9 new cases, and it says 98 deaths so far, and 18 in serious or critical condition. The U.S. isn't going to post till later today. So out of 1,430,348 infected or tested cases, we had 85,197 deaths and 310,259 recovered. That's it. Out of the 1,400,000, only 310 have recovered, and we still have 16,349 in serious or critical condition. Russia is going up too, but they haven't added for today yet. But they're in the poor UK. They don't even have a recovery amount yet. I guess no one's recovered from it. Out of the 190,137 cases in Brazil, they have 13,240 deaths and 8,318 in critical condition. So out of that 8,000 and some in critical condition, that'll make their death total go up to about 20,000. Anyway. Right. They don't have they don't have the numbers for the people that died in their homes. And they were saying that here for the US too, that they don't really have an accurate amount of deaths. And then some they found out, since they just happened to still have blood work on some people that had died, like in France, they found out that someone that died December 6th, well, they decided to check their blood, whatever they thought they died for. I don't know what they put on their death certificate, but it wasn't influenza. And so they went back and tested their blood and found out that they had COVID-19 December 6th in France and didn't know it. And I'm sure that's in a lot of the countries. And they added a new territory to the infection list, so it's now 213 countries and territories that are infected. Ah. Oh wow, that box moved pretty quick this time. Oh, see if there's any new warnings. Nope, just one for Oklahoma. Canadian, Cleveland, Grady, McLean, Oklahoma. At least that's the slow moving one, 25 miles per hour. Or we were watching storms one night and they had severe tornado warnings. And I mean, they were calling them deadly. They're like, these are deadly. And you don't normally see that word used in a weather report. But that's the word they were using that night. And they were the ones that hit a few weeks ago. And the people did lose their lives in Tennessee and Texas. And anyway, it was deadly storm after deadly storm after deadly storm. And anyway, so even without the tornadoes, some of the storms were moving 85 miles per hour. The storm itself's moving 85 miles per hour. That means the whole time it's moving, you got sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. And then in thunderstorms, you get wind gusts. So then you have a storm that's moving 85 miles per hour, and you get a 50, 60 mile per hour wind gust in that, then you've got 145-mile-hour winds in a thunderstorm. It's crazy what we've been seeing, but it's all in scripture. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sean fell asleep. Ah, he's gonna be disappointed he missed you. Yes, yes. With the see, whatever this virus is, it's a virus causing severe inflammation. So like it's I mean, severe inflammation in the lungs in most people, and that's why they have to keep trying to turn them. And I don't even know if they've like tried to drain their lungs, but it almost reminds me of. So there was this disease, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was one that mice were carrying, and so this woman, I forgot what state it is, somewhere here in the USA, she had swept up a dead mouse that day, swept it into the dustpan and threw it away. Well, whatever was on the, I wish I could remember the name. I'd have to Google it. This was a couple, 4, 5, 6 years ago or something. Anyway, so whatever was on the fur of that dead mouse, when she swept it, it became airborne. And within hours, it filled her lungs with so much fluid. And they had, you know, put a drain in each lung to drain the fluid, and it was just so fast that they couldn't stop it. They couldn't, they, and she died. And then there was a couple more cases of that. And so this kind of reminds me of that. I mean, it doesn't act as quickly as that did, but with most of the people, they get severe pneumonia. With some of the younger people, they're having strokes. There was a kid, 2 kids now in the United States where their hearts just stopped for no reason. Their hearts stopped beating. I mean, they brought them back. I think there's only been 3 that died in the U.S. so far that they know of, um, from COVID. But then this weird Kawasaki looking, mimicking the Kawasaki disease with the inflammation in their skin. And there's this lady I know out here that I'm hoping her kid doesn't have it, because I saw them yesterday, and her kid has a really bad rash on his face that looked like that. And she said he's had it like 2 weeks now, but she thought it was an allergic reaction to, um, I forgot what she told me, some essential oil she had on the bedspread or something. I mean, it could be just usually an allergic reaction to something like that. Doesn't last that long when you remove the allergen. Well, yeah, except I mean, they mutate. That's what viruses do. That's what bacterias do. That's what so I think the biggest problem with mutations is one of the things we know is antibiotics. So when you remove, okay, so what they do when with antibiotics, what happens is the next time that bacteria mutates, it's got less information. So it leaves off the information. So how they survive is it will leave off information of what destroyed it. So like the the antibodies that destroyed it, won't be able to destroy it next time it mutates. Or they'll be able to destroy it, but it'll take longer and it's weaker, and some of them will survive, and then they'll mutate and they'll be even stronger. I know the doctor that I used to date, uh, see, my daughter's 38, 37 years ago, um, told me back then that he was worried about the mutations. And I mean, but he mentioned hepatitis A and B, because that's all it was back then, was hepatitis A and B. And he mentioned the common cold, and he mentioned influenza. And anyway, the thing about this is that scientists and doctors knew this was gonna happen in nature, period, and or it could happen, in some biochemical warfare plan or whatever. But they foresaw this coming years ago and didn't prepare for something like this. I mean, it was just a matter of time when it was going to happen, you know. Like I said, that my doctor friend told me that 37 years ago. He was worried about the future for viruses and bacteria. But then I've been seeing funguses that I've never seen before in this. And I've lived here all my life, so I've been seeing other things um, flourish here that never grew here, and I still believe that part of it is from the UVC radiation coming from the sun that did not used to penetrate our atmosphere. Our atmosphere used to protect us from it, and it doesn't any longer. But then we go to Isaiah 30:26, which talks about our sun and moon, and then you go to scripture about the plagues and wormwood causing the waters to be bitter, and a third of man will die. Or, excuse me, let me correct myself, because I hate that they actually use the word bitter when wormwood has two meanings in Hebrew, and one is poison. So wormwood's going to poison a third of the water and kill off a third of man. So it may have came from water, for all we know. It may have came from, the heat. The sun evaporates the water from the oceans and lakes and streams and stuff, and it gets picked up in the air and it travels across the sky, and then the clouds get heavy and then they drop somewhere else. And then the sun evaporates the water, the moisture off the ground in that area, and it raises back up in the sky and creates another cloud, and it moves somewhere else and then drops that rain there. So, this is now in 213 countries and territories. So, right. The antibiotics only work on bacterial pathogens, but they do have well, it manipulates cells. I don't know about it manipulating the DNA. Um, I know it can manipulate RNA. They do have antivirals. Um, they don't have a lot of those though. But I mean, we knew in scripture that one day all this is going to happen. Scripture's been 100% accurate thus far. So it's it's getting interesting, that's for sure. Man, I wish they would stop talking about this unmasking scandal. That's all they've been talking about over and over and over and over. And you got some of them saying, well, yeah, I asked for the information, but I never looked at it. It's crazy. So, how did school go today? Can you still hear me? Man, there's such a delay today. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm running this at the same time. Ah, gracious. Maybe all the alerts are gone? Nope, still one. They still got 17 minutes. Thank God, like I said, though, that we don't have all those deadly storms here like we did that one night. Oh, not too much. Oh, we got a little bit of a storm up here going into South Dakota. You missed that. Missed that go again. In plain English, the virus can get to the brain of the cell. Yeah, you talking about this COVID was interesting because it had spikes on it, which could penetrate the protein cell. And but you know, in nature, it's survival of the fittest, as we know it. And I don't know, man has done so much. Man has created so many crazy things in the world, and we know that some countries were crossbreeding um, things in labs, and there's anyway, man has created a lot of issues for mankind. So, as Jesus said, he would shorten the days lest no flesh be left. And we're obviously, getting close to that. between what's going on, the great perplexity among nations, and the great global economy collapse, and a plague that is reaching 213 countries and territories. You would think that people would start picking up Bibles and reading them, see what's going on. But a lot of them aren't. You got online classes today? So I did all this yawning last night and thought I was sleepy enough to go to sleep and lay down and couldn't fall asleep for hours again. I was so upset. But anyway, took a one of those over-the-counter sleeping pills so I could try to sleep tonight. And it's kicking my butt at this point. Yes, it definitely was written before all our times. Some of it over 6,000 years ago. Some of it over 2,600 years ago. But it just amazes me how accurate it is. And I mean, I know it shouldn't. No, I've got the one test. The place called today to schedule it's called a PVL ultrasound for the kidneys. So they're going to look to make sure the renal arteries aren't having issues. Um, but the rest of the test, I haven't heard anything yet, and it's a bit frustrating because there's two other tests that I want done before that one that would give most important and immediate answers for some of the stuff. And they're the cheapest and the simplest out of everything. And but yeah, that hasn't been taken care of yet. So, but I did get the one for the PVL, which I'll be getting that on Memorial Day at the hospital. So, I didn't even realize it was on Memorial Day till after I hung up with her. And she was talking about May 25th. And I'm like, if that's a Monday, it's got to be close. It's got to be the week of Memorial Day or the week before, as I looked on the calendar. Well, I should have known 25th anyway, since it's only 30 days in May. Or is it 31 in May? I don't even remember. Don't shame. I need to hang a calendar up again and use it. I think I'm gonna have to keep up with the testing and the doctor's appointments and stuff. But I haven't had to use a calendar in years. Because I usually just look at the calendar on my phone, but I haven't done that in a long time either. I haven't really done that since I worked at the Sportsplex because I had their schedule on my calendar for the events and whatnot. Yeah, at one point, they used to let me pick my own schedule based on what the events were. because, like my boss said, I knew better than them what I would need to do and how long it would take to do each thing in preparation, depending on which event was going on. So, anyway, you have to give blood twice a week because of the iron overload. Really? Wow. Yeah. Do you? I have high liver enzymes. It's something else that runs in the family. They made me go through a bunch of testing for that years ago. But yeah, you need to be careful with the high iron. My iron usually runs a little low, but then I have a high copper content in my blood anyway because I'm Rho negative. So I think we're just naturally lower in iron because we're higher in copper than most people. Is that from you doing the mining? Is that why you had a high iron overload? Oh, gracious, gracious, gracious. I don't know. This might be a debris field. We'll see if it continues, if more of these pop up as it comes around. Oh, it's hereditary. Hemochromatosis. Hemochromatosis, rather. Oh, you do? Really? Well, that's no fun. Yeah, you have to. That's almost like pernicious. Is it pernicious? No, pernicious anemia is the opposite. That's still anemia, which means lack of. Well, I guess so, because that means you're constantly 2 quarts low on blood. Yes, glad your liver is okay. So 2 quarts, 2 pints. So that means you usually run 2 pints low on blood if they continue to take, or do they take 2 pints each time? I wonder if they use. I know that they can do packed uh platelets out of blood donations for like when people are on chemotherapy and their platelet count is low. But I wonder if they can. Oh wow, yeah, no wonder you have the same symptoms as somebody low on iron then if they're taking that much blood from you all the time. Um, wow. Yeah, you have to be careful not to get injured too, because if you ever had an injury and started losing blood because of an injury, you could you could go into shock very quickly from too much blood loss then. Yeah, so I'm thinking they could use, oh, it's only for another month. Huh. I'm wondering if they could use your blood in a severe anemic person, that because it's got so much so much extra iron in it. But so your red blood cells are replaced every 3 months. So 3 months from now, the red blood cells that you have now won't won't be there. It'll be all new red blood cells. Now, your white blood cells are replaced every 8 hours. So 8 hours from now, the white blood cells that you have in your body now will be gone and it'll be all new white blood cells. So that's why they can't give white cell transfusions. Like if someone has a uh, weak immune system, from either being from chemotherapy or for whatever, if they get a low white cell count, they can't just give them packed white cells like they do with the packed platelets from the red blood, um, because every 8 hours your body replaces all your white blood cells. Oh, that's why sleep is important. Rest is important because you build your immune system every night while you're sleeping, because that's when your white cell count gets to build the best, because you're not utilizing it. Long as you're up and moving around, you're utilizing your white cells. So whatever white cells you made while you were sleeping, you're depleting those as the day goes on. Extra iron, right, right. It does. Same thing with vitamin A and one of the vitamin B's stores too. Your body doesn't get rid of it. Like it does vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin E, most of your vitamin B's, but I forgot which one it is right now, maybe because I'm tired. But one of the vitamin B's your body actually stores, and so you can overdose on vitamins within 6 months of taking too much vitamin A. You can go blind. And some people too, you can take vitamin A. If you're low on vitamin A, it messes with your eyesight. But if you take too much vitamin A continuously, in 6 months' time, you can go blind, you can go insane, and you can die from too much vitamin A because your body stores it. And yes, they end up in your organs and do damage. I like talking to you. You're so knowledgeable and always so happy. Oh, hence your high protein diet, right? Right. My sister has a fatty liver. Yeah, fatty liver's not good for you either. But like I said, they made me go through a bunch of tests for hepatitis and all kinds of stuff because my liver enzymes are always higher than they're supposed to be. And then I try to tell them it runs in the family for some reason, you know. But uh, yeah, you got to be careful with that. So I guess you can't take Tylenol and stuff like that. And then you need to be careful with a lot of stuff. Because, yes, your liver and your kidneys are the two things that filter stuff. And when they don't work right, then your body can become toxic. I mean, I've seen people lose their mind when their liver stop functioning properly. Um, Literally lose their mind because everything they ate became toxic in their body. I guess the kidneys can do the same thing, but it affects you a different way, I guess. I don't know. Kidneys wasn't something that I really did research on before, so I didn't have much knowledge on that until they told me something was wrong with my kidneys, and then I had to start researching it. I'm like, that's the one thing I never expected, and I definitely it's not one of the things. You know, I've studied a lot of things, but that wasn't one of them because nobody I knew had kidney issues. So, and then people don't understand too. Some things that they put in their body, it can it can go in as one thing, and the liver changes the chemical properties of it. Just like these people thinking they can drink Clorox or rubbing alcohol to get rid of the coronavirus. Well, once it gets in the body, once it gets in the liver, it's done changed. It's done changed the chemical properties, and it doesn't do what it does on the outside of the body, and it can be fatal to them. Oh, your mother died of it? Oh, that's bad. With your treatment, you lost 55 pounds and feel great. Oh, that's awesome. How old was your mother when she died from it? Well, the good thing is that medicine has come a long way. So maybe, they've had you on therapy and whatever earlier, you know, than they could your mom because they didn't have the same technology and information. Oh wow, she was at 42. Oh wow. Okay, I'm sorry. Took Yeah. Yep, you are. You're still a young buck, but yeah, I know you got to start looking at that stuff, those hereditary things. I think I was already supposed to go back to the other doctor um, last Sunday because they told me to come back in 2 weeks, and it's obviously been 3 weeks because I only have a week's worth of heart medicine left. Oh, absolutely. But I know that God can and does work miracles. There is no doubt with that. But anyway, beautiful lady, I'm struggling to stay awake here now since I took that medicine. But I don't know. I kind of think that over the counter is probably safer than the prescription things for sleep. I know they gave me one time when I was like 28, 29, and that the first one they gave me to try to help me sleep was it made me more wide awake. It had the exact opposite effect that it was supposed to have. And then the next one they gave me, so I dream all night long. I don't have normal sleep where you have the three rooms of sleep. I stay in dream state the whole time. And my sister, apparently, she had 2 sleep disorder studies done. That's what they told her. And but her oxygen was dipping like 30% while she was sleeping. But she stays in dream state the whole time. And so I've been saying that my whole life, but never knew there was I've been saying that's what it feels like to me because I'll wake up every 10, 15, 20 minutes and I'm always waking up from a dream. And as soon as before I fall asleep, I can close my eyes and already can tell that I'm going to have a dream because it's already trying to run the visual part of it is already trying to get ready to run across my eyes. And same way. Uh, but so they gave me this one medicine trying to help me sleep, and it just made the dreams weirder. You've got to hang your laundry out. Oh yeah, while it's nice and warm. So anyway, we'll be keeping an eye on this the next day or 2 or 3, however long it takes to go across the sky and see what it is. It might be some constellation that's normal that I've just missed every time that I look at this, but I look at this every day. Well, except for a few months that I didn't have a good internet connection. And it'll be interesting to see if we end up with a geomagnetic storm from these that came off the sun today. And I guess we'll check the weather one more time. Still only one warning. This time is for Texas, Edwards, and Kennedy. Sleep psychosis, really? Yeah. I don't know, but it takes a toll on your body, like I said, because if you don't get the proper sleep, then even your white count doesn't get the chance to build like it's supposed to. And, all the little stuff in your brain that makes your heart and kidneys and liver and everything, and your bone marrow and everything else work properly isn't going to work properly when your brain doesn't rest like it's supposed to. I don't know. They've been having snow. Brian J said they had snow in New York last night, and he said right now they're at 32 degrees. Oh no, Sean said they were 32 in the UK tonight. Brian said it was really cold in New York again tonight, and I know Canada had snow last night too, where Patrick is. So yeah, they got a Mother's Day. Some of them got Mother's Day snow in areas of the United States where they don't, see snow in May, but they did this year. Some places they still, have some snow. periodically in May, like way, way up north. But it was pretty big, widespread cold blast. I think that's because the Earth is warming, and we know the Earth is tilting. The poles are shifting, and I think too, the cold air hasn't gone yet, but the warm air is pushing it around. The spots of cold air are getting less. If you take the whole Earth and you got, say, 50% warm air, 50% cold air around the Earth, well, I think nowadays it's 30% cold air or less and 70% warm air. It's still something here, so it gets moved around, gets pushed around with the warm fronts. It was chilly in the shade, but it was definitely hot in the sun, like really hot in the sun. Um, it's a little chilly tonight, I think down in the 50s here. Yeah, 52 right now. But it's going to be 74 later today, and then it's going to be in the 80s Friday and Saturday. So I'll enjoy that warm weather. Oh yeah, times are definitely changing. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna start trying to do the show earlier. I just don't know what kind of, when they get me back to work, I don't know what kind of work schedule I'm gonna have. I'm hoping they don't put me on nights like um, one of them was talking about, because I don't want to be working till 1 a.m. anymore. I did that, well, I worked later than that for 22 years working at the bar, and I need to stay on a normal work schedule. So I need to get my body regulated to normal work and sleep schedule and whatnot. But anyway, yep. Okay, go dry your clothes. God bless you, beautiful. God loves you, and so do I. You're a beautiful soldier in God's army. And hopefully we'll chat tomorrow or later today for me. Ah.